Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Joe, Devin, Diana, and I are here for Survivor 1 through 50, season 45, toes and sandwiches, because we're talking about Dee's toes and we're talking about Austin's sandwiches. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on with that in this season. And of course, we got to talk about Dee and Emily Flippen, who are on Survivor 50. So this is a super exciting time for us. So why did you guys want to discuss Survivor 45?
I mean, I can go first. I think it's the best new era season. It's got a great cast. I love almost most of the people who were brought here. Plus, it brought back, in my opinion, the best segment in all of Survivor, the auction. Really excited to talk more about that. I could do a whole season where it's just auction because it's so much fun.
Yeah, the auction is amazing. I'm so happy they did bring it back here, although like I would have preferred it to be back to like how it used to be. I understand why they needed to tweak it, because it's why they didn't bring it back for a very long time. So
yeah, but this is the thing, even a bad auction is a good auction.
True. There are some good moments, as we'll talk about. Devin, what about you? Why did you want to discuss 45?
It wasn't because of toes, so honestly, like I'm just a huge Survivor fan. So like any season, like I said, anytime you all want me to come on, I will come in and give my Devinisms. And I'm sure as I reminisce on this season, the more I'll have to say. So
yeah, 100%. Diana, what about you? This is your first time coming on, so
yes, first time on the pod. Long time viewer, first time pod.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I feel like this was the first new era season where I got like emotionally invested in the characters again. Like I was so anti Emily, and she had her little like character arc, and I was like, no, I'm obsessed with her. And so like for me, like my emotions to go from like both extremes with a lot of the characters, I was like, oh, this really brings back like the old days. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I enjoyed 45 on this rewatch. It definitely felt like it was better than I remembered in some aspects, and I'm sure we'll talk about Emily right off the bat with her character arc, because it's very, very good, and I definitely thought she was going to be an early boot because of how she started. So.
No, me too. I was like, she's gone for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. So before we get into the season itself, some alternates, because I found this really interesting. I wanted to keep track of this during the new era. Austin was the male alternate. So and obviously he made it to the end of the game, so it's a really fun tidbit there. Tiana from 47 was the female alternate, obviously didn't get cast here and made it on 2 seasons later, and she didn't even make jury, so
yeah, maybe she wishes she was on this season then.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then Kellie on this season was originally an alternate in Survivor 43, so she almost played with Gabler.
Oh my god.
And she's probably happy she was on this season.
So real.
My god. All right, well, from there we have our cast, we have our 3 tribes, and we have the return of Bruce Perreault. Super exciting. I was super excited, to be honest, because I was like, oh yay, we're finally getting a returnee after like 4 seasons of like just all new casts. And like I really liked Bruce like in the opening of 44, and so I was excited to see Bruce. But what are your guys' thoughts on Bruce coming back?
Yeah, well, what was interesting for me was he wasn't really a big character on 44 because of his medevac. Right. And so, but then this season comes on and he's like, and just doing all these crazy things that is just like, who is this person? Like, we got like that. Think about the Tika tribe. Like, they would have been even more crazy if Bruce was a part of it. Like, I didn't think that was possible. I thought he was supposed to be like the normal guy of that group, basically. And it's like, nope, he is wild.
he is amazing. I love Bruce. Devin, Diana, what about you guys? What do you guys think about Bruce?
I mean, I love him. I definitely, like, again, with getting into the emotions, I was like, sometimes I would like look at my TV screen and be like, Bruce, just shut up. But I mean, I think it's just such a meme for him to like just come back after, you know, being out so early in the season before, and then to be like, yeah, I was basically on Survivor. We're like, were you? I don't know.
I mean, you took cast photos.
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah,
I was personally more like, okay. Whenever I first seen that he was a part of the cast, because they like, as much as like I used to be like, if somebody's taken out before the first vote and they never really got to play, maybe they should get a chance to play again. And I think that he is a good representative of like what could happen, and because he did end up being a bigger character. I think the biggest thing that I take from Bruce's return is I feel like he became a what would you call it, like a predecessor, or not a predecessor, like predecessor to what we got the following with Q. He kind of, you know, opened that archetype back up. I feel like they tried to shut that archetype down for a while. They're like, we don't want nobody too crazy on the show, you know. And then he, you know, obviously came back and, you know, he mid-merge boot, like
I
has some entertainment, so.
Yeah, it was funny, like, even like you're like, is Bruce gonna like chill out, like, and not like dive right in and hit his head? No, and then, you know, from the beginning he's jumping off the boat like this, and like
oh my god.
No, but I love him, and we'll get to the big moment with him immediately in a second. But what about the rest of the cast? I feel like this is definitely like a cast where you have some really good casting choices, but then you have some who probably should have never set foot on the island. So
yeah, but you gotta also remember the people who should not have set a foot on the island do go out pretty early-ish. So it's like it's not like some seasons where those people end up making you very deep, and you're like, I gotta deal with these people the entire time.
I will say this season, more than pretty much any other season, it honestly felt more like, based on the boot order specifically, it felt more like an org where like the people who are just really bad at the game are just going out early because the people are like, oh, let's just not deal with that. Which happens more in orgs, not in Survivor. Usually in Survivor, you know, there's a mix of who goes home and why. But this one, it did seem more like, oh, this person genuinely is not good at this game, so let's just send them home.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to like talk bad about like Brandon Donlin, because we love Brandon Donlin. He's a friend of the show.
And great like, character.
Yeah, I think he's a good character as well, but like also just like I feel like I'd also probably be out there, and maybe I would like have a bit of anxiety and maybe not do as well on some things. So I can relate to Brandon. It just like, it's unfortunate that that's how his experience was, that it was short, and that he like kind of just was consumed by anxiety the entire time.
Yeah. And you can tell he was great socially. Like no one out there was like, I don't want to work with him. It really just came to, they could tell the writing was on the wall. Their tribe sucked at challenges, and they needed to do anything to try to fix that sinking ship.
It's unfortunate with Brandon. I feel like my gripes with the cast is particularly with Hannah and with Sean, because they end up quitting. Sean's genuinely came out of nowhere, as I'm sure we'll get to when we get to it. And then I guess Hannah's did too, because Hannah just quit because she missed her vape. So
girl, oh my god. When I saw that era, I was like, you know, you're going on live, or not live, but I was like, you're going on national television, girlfriend.
Wait, let's she was a bad casting choice. You don't cast somebody who can't handle not being without their crutches, for lack of a better, you know, term for it.
No, 100%.
I'm a smoker. I smoke, and I'll be honest, like the idea of leaving cigarettes behind would suck. Like, but I think that like the difference would be like, she clearly was somebody who didn't have ambitions to actually play Survivor. She was casted because she was a pretty girl who was kind of, you know, quirky, and she fit this mold that they wanted on the show, and they got what they, you know, probably I had to anticipate it. She didn't seem to be very, in the game, as far as like a player, she wasn't somebody on a drive to play Survivor. And of course, when you take away somebody's like things they lean on in life to get through stress and stuff, as somebody who smokes, you do that. Like, so you're just sitting there just like, gosh, I really wish I could have a cigarette or a vape or whatever you're wanting. And to me, it was just, you play, you know what I mean? You get what you put in, and she obviously was not fit for this show. Probably a good person, not meant for Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it's funny. Like, you could tell Jeff was just very angry as soon as that happens at that tribal council. Like, Jeff is just like in disbelief over someone like quitting at this point.
Yeah, but you know what? I would still say I thought it was funny. I was laughing because she was like, "You guys can vote someone else out. I'm leaving still." Like, you're not.
Can I say something?
Not send me that.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, let's have a very like come to Jesus moment here. As somebody who plays like very hard whenever I do play on the online stuff, if I was in that situation, I would be like, "You mean if I vote somebody else out now, you're going to go home and I'm going to be 2 spots closer.
Yeah.
And I'm on a disaster tribe anyway. So the faster I can get through this, the more likely to me, it was a bad move. I would have voted out somebody else and then let her quit."
Right. Yeah, I probably would have thought about doing the same, because I mean, one less person evens the odds. So
to me, I'm just like, we could get rid of 2 weak people in one, you know what I mean? Like, it's like going to the supermarket and they're like 2 for 1 deal on, you know, deodorant. You're like, well, that's, you know, 2 extra weeks of deodorant.
Yeah. I mean, it at least goes to Brandon's social game yet again that they would still rather like try to get him through this. Emily is the one that is kind of like, at this point in the game, no one likes her. It takes till after this tribal council for her to like starts building any bonds.
Yeah. Well, let's get to Emily's story arc, because right away she calls out Bruce Perreault, our boy Bruce, as, you know what, we shouldn't let this guy stay in the game any longer. Like, he's had his chance. Like, he's not meant for this game. Like, I think it's hilarious that Emily just calls out Bruce immediately, and everybody's just like, whoa.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like in that moment I was like, I low-key agree with Emily, but the way she went about it, I was like, girl.
Well, the thing is like, it's hard to criticize the move knowing what happens with her. Like, at the end of the day, the idea of calling him out actually had nothing to do with what eventually sent her out of the game. If anything, I think it set her up as somebody who, you know, is going to rub people the wrong way, and it's probably going to be easier to beat in the end. That's how I would have taken it. Like, and also like, she's causing another tribe to distrust one of their own from the get-go. Like, to me, I don't think it's as bad of a move as people make it out to be. She obviously went about it a really like confrontational way, which is not good. But like, I don't think it was as looking in the moment, it looked really bad. I think after knowing how her story plans out and how she adapts throughout the game, honestly, kind of just a funny moment for the show.
Yeah, and especially for a new era where everyone is always trying to be all lovey-dovey and, you know, like, oh, it's so great that you're back here, Bruce. Like, to have someone who just outright called him out is like, no, that's BS. What he's saying is not right.
Yeah, I love it. Facts are not facting right now.
Yeah, like, I want more people like that on Survivor. Like, they kind of stopped doing that with a lot of people, but we need people like that on Survivor.
And I it seems Survivor agrees, because they love Emily Flippen. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's continue moving forward. So I believe there was also an unaired twist in episode 1 when Hannah quit, that supposedly Kendra got picked to visit their tribe, and she got to cast a secret vote, and she voted for Brandon Donlin. So I don't know why this didn't make air. I think this would have been really, really fun, but I guess it was definitely overshadowed by Hannah quitting. So
yeah, I think the only way this makes air is if Kendra ends up winning the game. I think that was the only, because like the fact is that because Hannah basically quits, it's like no reason to waste airtime, I guess, on it.
So I mean, it also does tell me that clearly Kendra did not have much influence over that tribe. She didn't have like her vote was not for the person who went home. Her like impact was clearly like not felt. And the biggest thing that comes from that is whenever you get that information post an episode or post show or however you want to word it, it is edgically, like you said, unless she wins the game and they're not going to, if they choose not to show that, like that pretty much means edgically you can count Kendra out from the first episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kendra's a weird character on this season. I'll just say that. Like, she does some really odd things. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to make of you right now.
That's how I felt about her the whole time.
Yeah. She's got that Libra alliance. Okay, I'm a Libra, so I was just like, let's go. they don't do great, but you know what? It is interesting. There's so many of the women this season that happen to be like late September, early October babies. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like whenever I see Kendra, she's making like these weird faces. She's like hissing at people like a cat. Like I just don't know what's going on. And then let's head over to Reba, because we obviously are going to be talking about Dee as a winner and like her path to the end, because this is like one of the most dominant alliances in Survivor history. This Reba 4 that is Dee, Mama J, Julie, Austin, and Drew Basile. So I mean, what do you guys think of this alliance, and why do you guys think it ends up being so successful?
I think there's multiple reasons. For one, I think that as a whole, obviously the alliance was able to stick together, and that's why they succeeded. But I also feel like from the outside looking in, if you're like a player in this game, with the exception of maybe Dee, the other three don't appear on paper that threatening. Like Austin clearly felt like, even though he was an athletic guy, also came across kind of like the surfer bro type player that we see is a runner-up most of the time, which happens to him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you look over at Drew and he clearly comes across as like super intelligent, but also probably not somebody you have to worry about winning challenges. So you can kind of take him out whenever. And then Julie is obviously in that archetype of stereotypical older mom figure who gets to the end and also is a runner-up or gets voted out right before the show, which obviously happens to her. So I think that the from the outside looking in, I think a lot of these other players were looking at people who they thought could win the game, and they looked at this alliance and were like, okay, other than like the girl with the toe, like everybody else here is not a threat to my game.
Yeah, it also, I think when you make a group of 4, it's really good when you have 2 separate group like duos that also vibe with each other. Because one of the problems when you have a group of 4 is having one person feel like they are like excluded, that they're not part of it. But when you have 2 duos, it feels like they can trust each other a little bit more. At some point, you might have to turn on like the other duo, but you don't feel like, oh, I got to now flip on all of them because I need to like make sure that my status in this alliance is better.
Yeah. I feel like it kind of they all brought different things to the table. I feel like I totally agree with the duos. And then also I feel like you had Dee, who was kind of like the like young social like girl, and then you had the Mama J, who is like the mom of the group. She kind of like sees things from a different perspective. Then you kind of have like nerdy Drew, who's like not necessarily on the outs, but like is a different vibe than Austin, and so people go to them for different things. And I mean I think it was a great alliance. I was like rooting for them from the get-go.
They also probably didn't feel very threatened by each other. Like the idea of with the way the game is set up now, with the fire making at 4, you kind of want to be an alliance of 4, because the truth is as long as you practice and know how to do fire, like your chances of getting to the end are actually higher than normal, because like back before fire making, which I found that was probably harder for people, because you had to socially be not just in good graces, but you couldn't be in too good of graces, because if people knew you were going to win, like they would vote you out at 4 if you didn't have immunity. Like, there was no way to extra save yourself. So obviously I'm not pro fire making. So, But
Right.
I do think with that format, like if I was in on Survivor, I would do what they did. I would be in a part of a 4 and just take my time practicing fire every day, subtly when there's not a lot of things going on, people aren't paying attention, and just hope that I can get to the end and either get carried to the end because I ain't winning no damn challenge, or if I can get to fire, I can beat whoever sucks at it.
Right. I also think like the fact like their other 2 tribe mates are Sifu and Maya, who like honestly really aren't playing the game. Like, I mean, Sifu's running around hiding in bushes, and I don't know. Like I just don't think either of them are really gelling at all. Obviously, they're gonna be like, earn the merge, like late pre-jury boots. Because they just don't fit in. So,
but Maya had that one scene where there was a bunch of numbers coming through, and she was running. Running through everything, all the scenarios.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I thought maybe there was something with Maya, but like she just couldn't put it together in the actual game. And then as we said, like Sifu is more concerned with just being a character, I feel like.
Yeah,
he was like trying to be the season's Tony. That was his goal.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some funny Sifu moments though as we get into like the swap portion, like late pre-merge. But so then we do say goodbye to Brandon Donlin. I mean, again, Brandon, I think maybe in a season where he is able to kind of blend in more, where it's not like a small tribe of 5 or 6 people, then maybe Brandon can still like squeak through. I don't know, and like because of his social game.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
yeah, he needed Jonathan on his tribe.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, someone that can literally just like pick him up with one hand and just like carry him all the way.
Yeah,
I think short of being on a tribe of like Aussies and Joes and like just people who are Jonathans, like who are just going to carry the tribe.
Right.
I'm sure he's a great guy, but like he does very much like he falls into that same archetype as like Jacob Derwin for me. Like obviously loves Survivor, big fan of the show, probably just not built for the physical part of this game, which unfortunately is hard to get past that early portion. But once you get past it, it's actually a positive because people don't look at you as a threat.
Right.
Yeah. I was shocked though because like preseason he had like a lot of attention. Like he was huge, prominent in the trailer leading up to this about like his grandpa like robbing a bank and kind of something like that. And it's just like that doesn't even make the show. So unless you remember that trailer, you don't know about that.
I when I was rewatching it and like I saw the end of 44 in that trailer, I'm like, oh wow, this really didn't make the show for Brandon. Because that's pretty crazy. My favorite moment for Brandon Donlin is like I think it's like the immunity challenge in the second episode of like he falls down and just like is laying there like dead.
Oh my god.
So
I enjoyed my time with Brandon. I think he was very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean,
the 2 episodes. I also do think that tribal council, it was interesting, like the debate of do you keep the guy who's bad at challenges, who's super likable, or the person who's less likable but can at least like compete.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at that point, I mean, when you're on a tribe that is supposed to be the train wreck tribe, you kind of have to prioritize like trying to win. So I just think that they set up Lulu to be the train wreck tribe, and I feel like that's a big thing in this era of Survivor is they don't care about balancing the tribes.
They love having one tribe that just sucks so bad that they have to lose until they're down to 2 or 3 people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's probably my least favorite part of the new era is which tribe's going to suck the most, throughout the pre-merge. But he, like I said, with him, he's a good character. I think maybe just not somebody who needs a bit of luck to get past those first like initial 2 to 4 rounds.
Yeah. I'd love to see him play Big Brother. I think he would have been way better at Big Brother than Survivor. Yeah,
a game where he can kind of lay low, not be a threat,
and just be likable,
and not be seen as like a detriment to the team or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That and yeah, literally just be there for confessionals, give us some good content, and yeah, it would have been way better and suited for that show.
Yeah,
100%. Let's get to the Sabaya boot, because this is a really great episode of the pre-merge here, where Sabaya has this idol that she has to basically burn in the fire at Tribal Council because they don't have fire at camp, and burn the wax, and she gets the idol. And so Lulu loses again, and we get to this Tribal Council where she is about to go home because her and Sean are trying to gun for Kaleb, and she burns through the wax, gets the idol, doesn't end up playing it, and she sacrifices her vote, right, to get an extra vote. So like she's like trying to take all these unnecessary risks, and it just like completely blows up in her face, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, I think if there was a pre-merge All-Star season, I'd love to see Sabaya back. Honestly, I think she played great until this episode when it just ended up everything coming on to her, and yeah, just her bringing the idol and literally roasting it and making sure that she can get it out of the wax was hilarious. And it was like the Tribal Council didn't matter; we were all just focusing on the idol. Bless you.
I'm sorry, guys.
You're totally good.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just a classic, version, a very entertaining one, but a classic version of the player who comes in, settles in very well, ends up in the majority alliance, and then overplays their hand and gets unceremoniously booted in a Tribal Council where if they just played their idol, didn't screw their vote out of the game, didn't take 900 things that you should probably not do in this moment. But it was overconfidence. I think she thought that she had everybody on her side, and she didn't matter. And clearly, they do say on Survivor, obviously I've never played, but once you feel comfortable, that's usually when you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember just looking at my TV screen like after she was voted out, knowing that she had only had the idol for like 10 minutes, and I was just like, I would be in shambles honestly, if I were her, like I don't even know if I would have played it either. Like, I mean, like you just said, Devin, like given the spot that she was in, but I mean, I just remember being like, I can't even believe I just watched that with my eyes. Like, that's crazy.
I feel like to get Emily so like obvious. Like it should have been Emily, like from her perspective.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
I feel like Sabaya kind of got screwed. Like out of all types of idols and ways that things you have to do to get them, like you're on the shit tribe with no fire, and then you're like put in a position where you have to melt the idol out of a thing of wax, and it has to be, and because of the situation, you have to do it in front of all of your peers. I mean, to me, I think at that point, if I was in her situation, I'd be like, they already know I have the damn idol. It's not gonna do anything but put a target on my back. I'd probably just play it personally.
That's true too. Yeah.
Like at this point, like be like, I'm useful because I am, I'm very good at finding things or whatever, but like, I don't want to be too dangerous moving forward. So like, I'm going to save myself this one time with this really shitty idol I found because I had to show you all that I had it anyway. And maybe we can move forward from here and maybe find the re-hidden one because they're going to re-hide one here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And it sucks even more for Sabaya for what's literally about to happen next episode, where someone who was with her could have just left early and saved her the hassle.
Yeah. I think Sabaya definitely was screwed in a way as well. I'll agree with Devin on that because she could have been a really good player. I mean, I got to meet her at Celebrity Weekend this past year. And it's also really cool that her and Katurah are now a couple. Like, that's actually amazing.
Yes, I think it's incredible.
I didn't know that.
When I found out about that, I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah. They're not like, they didn't even get to meet, and they're now a couple. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So we do get our swap, and now we are going to see Sean quit, aka Kevin Hanna's replacement on the season, because Kevin is so upset that Sean took his spot on the show. Yeah, Sean pissed me off as well, like with this quitting, because it really felt like it came out of nowhere, because I really feel like he was gonna be fine. They were obviously gunning for Sifu at this vote. Like D even still votes for Sifu. And like the famous shot that, all like the memers online for the Survivor community, like they make it seem like she's saying like shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand it, even like rewatching it, of why Sean just gives up all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just he thought like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to get targeted here, even though he had confirmation that they were going for Sifu. I think I even heard like he kind of regretted it like shortly afterwards. So it was definitely like an emotional response that happened like in tribal council.
Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead, and then I'll.
I was just gonna say, if I remember, like he was like super emotional at the tribal, right? Like telling them, and I just feel like it was one of those times in Survivor where like the elements just really get to you, and you just like make a rash decision. But I mean, I liked him, like, but I don't know. I'm like very anti-quitter on Survivor, as I think a lot of people are, but yeah, I mean, it just does it to you sometimes, I guess. I don't know.
But what, yet again, an interesting thing that happens is D trying to still get the Sifu vote going, which is what I'm sure everyone wanted, because then if Sean had to go back after doing that, like hilarious of what would have like gone down. Would he have still quit like Hannah was threatening, or would it have been like, oh, well, that's over now, let's move on?
And like D has to like lie. My favorite part is like they go back to camp and like Sifu, who voted for Sifu, and then everybody just like lies to him, or just like is quiet, and then he still is like trying to figure out.
So this is my opinion on Sean's quit. Back when I worked in healthcare, and healthcare is very stressful, and there's some people who can't handle it. I mean, they just can't handle the floor. I mean, not necessarily just the job and the stress that comes from the job, but like they genuinely cannot handle being responsible for people. And whenever I had people who would quit on me mid-shift, I called them crybaby bullshitters. Like, they couldn't put on their big girl panties and stick around and stick it out, at least to save, the rest of us from extra work. And I think that he's kind of a crybaby bullshitter. Like, I think he didn't get what he wanted to happen on the Sabaya vote. He was peed off and mad that he wasn't in control of the game, got screwed onto a tribe where he felt like he was at the bottom, and then was like, how can I get out of this and still not look like a wuss? And was like, oh, I got what I wanted from this experience. Like, no, you are mad that you're not in a power position. If you were in a power position, I don't think this would be happening. And like similar to Hannah, and you're just not meant to play Survivor because you can't handle being the stress of being on the bottom.
That brings up all of my bubbles up all of my emotion about people who quit. I'm like, guys, you applied to be on this show. You went through like rounds and rounds and rounds of casting. Like,
listen, they'd have to drag my ass out. I would be like hanging onto the floorboards of tribal council with security pulling me by my freaking ankles. They'd be like one of the most epic moments of the show. But that's like, I would not want to go. Like, the last thing I'd be doing is being like, well, I'm not winning now, so I guess I better go home. Like,
and claiming.
Do you know how many times I've lost in my life? A lot of losing. That you never win if you don't try, and you're not trying. So
well, and he's like claiming he misses his husband and like all this other stuff. It's like you're even out there for what, a week? Like,
oh god,
and he's not going to go. He's literally not going to see his husband still until
I think you're going to pre-jury Ponderosa, buddy. Like, I'm sorry. Unless you choose literally 5 days. Unless you choose the great contract and not get no money at all, which I'm going to guess you want some money.
Right.
You're not going to see your husband. Okay. You just wanted a reason to leave the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page with this. All right, and then we are going to get the Bello tribe, and Emily Flippen is pretty much the swing vote between Austin and Drew Basile and Brando and Kendra. And this vote is interesting. I think Brando, we haven't talked about at all. I think Brando was obviously in a good position pre-swap, and then all of a sudden, like he just gets completely screwed by the new tribe members coming in. So like I would have liked to see Brando play a little longer. I would even like to see him on a second chance type season. So
yeah, he was even bonding over Pokemon, and
yes.
Guess what? That Drew's like that doesn't matter here, bud.
Listen, if I was on the island, Pokemon would matter. That would mean that I can at least talk to you about something,
right?
And it doesn't have to be about this game. He's just another one of the classic Survivor type of boots of ended up on the wrong tribe after a swap and
just classic swap
screwed. Yeah, and
it happens to the best of them.
It happens to you could be the best Survivor player in the world, and one bad swap could screw you out of the game pre-merge.
Yeah. Like him and Kellie were the swing votes between like the Bruce and Jake alliance and the Kendra and Katurah alliance. So like I think like he was in a power position. So
yeah, I mean he was liked by all the girls too. He was doing the buff top that is always happening.
Oh yeah, and if you all have watched him, he's played Blood on the Clock Tower on RealityTV. Very entertaining there. Like like I said, sometimes it's like these random pre-merge boots that I think I wish they would just do a pre-merge boot season just to like give some of them that opportunity to prove that it was a fluke that they kind of got.
Exactly. And if they don't want to commit fully, do like a pre-merge and a merge kind of like tribe division situations if you don't want to do a full commit,
like Survivor South Africa did with Return of the Outcasts, and a pre-merger ended up winning with Dino. So like they have done it with to great success.
Exactly. I think that's like the good compromise, because I do kind of understand like, are people not going to remember all these pre-mergers if you're not like a super like.
Don't even advertise it as that. Don't even advertise it as pre-mergers. You say this is a new season Survivor and see who realizes what the actual theme is. That might be even funnier, because there will be some really dumb people online being like, I love this person. Like 2 years ago, they were like, this person sucks. Like on the
Yeah, this is one of the greatest players of all time, and they're like a first boot of a season.
We know the casuals have said that, like that they like there are people obviously still claiming that they want a pre-merge boot season, and then they definitely won't remember. When
you said that, it made me think of that meme of that one guy, and he's like, the goat. And it's like freaking like Zane 9 or something.
Oh my god!
And he comes back and wins the game, sitting next to Jelinski.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Jelinski and Francesca.
And Jelinski we trust.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about Jelinski next week. But anyway, and we haven't mentioned Jake O'Kane yet. Obviously, Jake is someone that has an interesting arc. He is pretty much like the Owen Knight of this season, where like nothing seems to go right for Jake. I mean, he's like literally passing out because he hasn't eaten anything. And like, we'll obviously talk about him later. Like he just can't catch a break, and he's getting, blindsided by other people getting blindsided. Like, I don't know. Like I want to like Jake more. And I've met him as well at Celebrity Weekend. He's a nice guy. But I feel like on the show I wanted to like Jake more, and it's kind of like the thing of like I just feel like I can't get behind you, because I think you are catching a raw deal, but also like maybe part of you isn't cut out for it either.
Well, I mean, you can only watch somebody get Charlie Browned so many times before you're like, is it really because she keeps pulling the football, or is it because you can't kick the football?
Yeah, well, I will say Jake has some at times the right reads, and people do not like listen to him. And if certain players, we'll get to them later, like did what what should have happened, very different game that could have happened, but because just no one wanted to work with Jake, which maybe it just goes to his social game just wasn't good, and he just couldn't have any pull because of that. But I actually do think on a different season, Jake would have been a much better player. He ended up being on the season where there was a group that just completely controlled, and he was not in that group.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's definitely points where he definitely has the right read on it, but I also want to give credit to D later when I'm sure the move that we'll talk about at the final 5 happens. I think that's a credit to D's social game as well. But we'll get there eventually. Let's move on. We got our earn the merge, and I think the biggest moment obviously is we saw in 44 that the shot in the dark did finally get successfully played. But this is really the first big successful play of like it actually saved someone. And this is such a fun moment with Kaleb playing the shot in the dark. I was smiling rewatching this.
Yeah,
so good.
One
of the most iconic.
The first time that it landed on safe.
It was Jamie in 44 landed on safe.
Okay.
Yeah, but
this is the first time that it cleared every vote.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Vote.
Yeah, I remember that being such a dramatic tribal council. Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm shocked Kaleb is not on 50 purely because of this moment, because this is like the defining moment, in my opinion, of New Era Survivor. Like this, Jeff loves selling people on like why this person's here. This is like such an easy Jeff Probst sell of like why Kaleb deserves another chance at this game.
Agreed completely. Kaleb should have been out there, and this is just an absolute shock because like he is like an obvious, like everybody sees him as this big player, this big threat. And he can't catch a break, and I actually do feel like Kaleb would be somebody that he's an obvious big threat, but I feel like in certain situations he could do really well.
Yeah,
I think with watching him on RHAP, it really kind of honed in on actually how strategic he can be in games.
Yes.
I think that the biggest part is after this, like after we get his save, is we go to this revote where J Maya is just unanimously just like, bye girl. Like, and she's like baffled and hurt and like doesn't understand why. And I'm like, girl, you basically handed your game over to D like 5 days ago. Like,
right. Because didn't she tell D like, I'm just gonna like let Sifu think it was me or whatever? Like, I'm like, so you just basically throw yourself under the bus?
Yeah.
You're gonna burn one of your jury votes?
Yeah.
To be fair, that might have been like, I mean, obviously D goes on to win the game, but if there's somebody willing to burn their jury votes for you, well, maybe she could have tried a little harder to figure around.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, seeing Jay also like die when Kaleb's shot in the dark worked, like the save, like it cuts to her and she just is like head in her hands, like she is just out of it. Like she knows she's screwed. Tries to do a little bit, but it's like she was the backup essentially the whole time. So it's like, what's she gonna do?
But the thing is she put herself in the position to be the backup target. Like, like J Maya is clearly like somebody who, like, I think wants to think they understand the game of Survivor. Like, she has a like quote unquote like strategic mind, but the strategic mind is like tainted with like this constant need to like I know in the 48 laws of power, like one of them is do not surpass the master. Like, but girl, that doesn't mean you put yourself in chains, attach yourself to a cinder block and throw yourself in the ocean. Like, like that's the equivalent of what you did.
Yeah. What I love though is that she ends up becoming super good friends with Sifu, and they actually ended up like doing shows together. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they didn't really bond more on the island because of them both being musicians.
It should have been like very clear. I mean, I guess they were on the bottom, but also they kind of were like going after each other for some reason. It was weird.
It was really odd. And so then so J Maya's gonna go, and then we are gonna have that double boot where one is not gonna make the jury and one is. I think that's the first time they've kind of done it this way. So we're gonna lose Sifu here. I mean, again, they probably should have just aimed at Bruce, but they end up aiming at Sifu because he doesn't have any connections. So like, I don't know. I enjoyed Sifu as a character, but like this was exactly the time for him to go at this point. So
yeah, I think we were all seafood out at this point.
Yeah,
you know?
it just makes sense.
Listen, at some point you have to realize, when like vegans, they eat tofu and they realize, that's actually not meat, and then some of them go back and start eating meat again. Like we dealt with Sifu, and we've had our fill of like this coach-like character. I hate calling it a coach-like character because it's not even really coach, but like in this vein, but it's not. The taste is not actually there, so it's time to just kind of make it off the knees before we have to deal with it all the way through the jury phase.
Yeah. I don't think we needed to see more Sifu either. But we are now going to end up losing Kaleb, because I think this is one of the most fun editing choices of like Jake is like going through his plan, and he's like, this is what is going to happen, and it's showing you ahead of time that it's going to be like 3 votes on Kaleb and 2 on Mama J, and it's like this last vote, Katurah might vote for Mama J, and we're gonna have a tie. And then it goes fast forwards, and we're like, nope, the person voted out is Kaleb. I thought this was a really fun editing choice.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of fun editing choices in this season because they had that extra time, which is something we actually haven't talked about, is that this is the first season where it's on the 90-minute format. And it's the reason why it has now stuck, is because it was so successful on this one specific season. And they found a lot of great moments in the season. So it was like, let's do it for every season, which sometimes it doesn't work. I mean, we definitely, I think it hurts a lot of pre-merge episodes in the new era when it's this long, because sometimes there's just not a lot going on in a day or two of time out there. But occasionally you get good stuff, especially like in the post-merge. Like that's when like 90 minutes really is like beneficial.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for bringing it up, Joe. I don't know why we didn't go over the 90-minute thing, because that's a huge thing for the new era, for Survivor at this point. I think it really does help this season work as well as it does. I think there's seasons after this that maybe 90 minutes is a little too much, but I'm glad, because like I know that there were people that were like asking them to change it to 90 minutes for a while. So
I mean, I do think this is like a classic case, though. Like Survivor, like, gosh, I don't like talking about it, but like, they're always like, we need to change it up, and like they did change. Like in this season in particular, where they had never done the 90-minute episodes, they did try a lot of new editing tactics to kind of freshen up the show, which is kind of what I think fans want. They want. We like Survivor because we enjoy the format of Survivor. And I think that that's the way that you freshen it up, with new ways to showcase the things that are happening and stuff. And, sometimes Survivor does it right. And then sometimes you turn around and, for some reason, Mr. Beast is on the show. And yeah. So it is what it is. Like, I mean,
you gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah. But like, this is the good. The good is whenever they. Yeah. But then, like you all said, then there's times whenever they are stuck in this 90-minute format, and clearly not enough happened to be entertaining to fill that 90 minutes. So it is what it is. But I would rather have 90 minutes than not, for future reference, in case somebody accidentally sees this and wants to put it in content.
Right,
I would prefer 90 minutes with boring content than a squished 60 minutes, 42, where I don't understand what happened because you all had to cut out, hours worth of material I probably should have seen.
Yeah. And I'm putting 2 and 2 together now. Like, I think that's why I was more, because I said in the beginning of the pod, like, I felt more emotionally invested in the character or in the players than like previous seasons or previous new era seasons. And now I'm like, that's definitely why, is because you get to learn like more about them and their stories. And like we were saying, like the new era players, they're also like lovey-dovey and nice in the beginning, and no one's really like cutthroat anymore. And so it makes it a little bit like not hard to watch, but it makes it a little boring to watch. And so I think that with this season, like now that you have 90 minutes, you get to learn a little bit more about people. And then that's why I was like, it like grabbed me back again. And I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, 100% agree. I definitely think like the lovey-dovey, the kumbaya of like, I think we need to bring back like players being willing to disagree. And I know we also did have like Katurah versus Bruce in this season. Like we did have something at least. Like I think that was fun. Just like Katurah's entire storyline for the beginning or most of the game is like, oh man, I really hate Bruce.
She like 30 confessionals about that. Like I swear to God, it was so many.
I do wish that they would edit people. Like, I know that Jeff has said, like, they don't want to edit anybody one-dimensionally anymore. They want to have dynamic characters for everybody. Okay. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. Everybody likes a hero, but everybody loves a good villain. So bring back the villains. Let people, even if it's hard to watch. I mean, I hate saying it like that, but even if it's hard to watch, I would rather get to see actual fighting, because to me that means that the spirit of the game is now competitive. It kind of ruins the facade of it being a reality show for money when every person who gets voted out is like, it's okay guys, good luck, hugs for everybody. Like, no, I want people to go out and be like, screw you guys, I'm going home.
I'm going home.
Wasn't Eric Cartman?
Yeah. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Like,
That's such a good impression.
Like, I don't care. Like, I know that they don't do it because of how nasty. Like, it's because of how nasty online people can be. People online are the true villains of the show now because they torture these people. Like, I'm sorry. If you dangle $1 million in front of Devin's face, you're not going to get the normal Devin, okay? You're going to get a lot meaner Devin than normal if I have to go step over people to get that money. Because, but I do miss it when they would edit villains, and they did kind of dabble back into it in this season.
Well, like the people couldn't handle it back in season 2 with Jerry, who wasn't really even a villain. Like they absolutely cannot do it like nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, people stopped watching Survivor in season 1 when Richard Hatch won. I've literally talked to people who said like that ruined the show for them, and they stopped watching. Production was thought that was going to ruin the show with Richard winning. So it's like, for some reason, some people just have it in their mind that like the hero has to win every season of Survivor, and it's all about the good people, and those are the people who everyone loves. But it's like, that's you need both. You can't just have one. You can't just have a bunch of likable people. And it's like, I know that they, like Jeff Probst said, that they want to give $1 million to the people that they like. That's why they cast all these people as all these likable people, because they want to give that $1 million to someone that they are glad to give it to. But you gotta also know that you gotta risk it to get the biscuit a little bit and give us some spice. Like we can't have milquetoast contestants all the time.
Yeah, like exactly. You can't have people who are soggy bread. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. And the thing is I love a delightful character. If that's truly who they are, like a Marianne, delightful character. If that, and I truly believe that Marianne is pretty much that person. All the time. But like, what kills me is you'll get them on the show, you get this like, white soggy bread version of themselves because they're so afraid of how they're going to come across or whatever, and then they get voted out because they weren't cutthroat enough for the game, and then they get off the show and they're like, well, if this person had done that, and then you're like, why were you like that on the show? Like, why, if you knew that was your best move, why didn't you do it? Like,
right. We'll get there, I think, with Katurah once we get to that moment. But before we hit like the biggest like blindside, one of the like finally a salty reaction from Kellie, we'll get to that in a moment. I did want to bring up that we forgot to mention the amulets with the sandwiches and Austin getting pissed off because he didn't. They took away his sandwiches for the amulets.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious, and like that's a big reason why he wants J Maya and then Kellie gone.
He's pissed at them. You know, it's like, if you take my sandwiches away, you're out of this game. But like also just strategy wise, like yeah, you're gonna get rid of them so you can have an idol. Like
Right.
it was such a like weird decision for them to think like, yeah, let's all work together for extra votes. Like that's just not going to happen. They fixed it a little bit later on, but like this version of the amulet just is like, yeah, you're now on a side quest to take out other people. Like that's basically what it is.
Yeah, I honestly think that Austin probably deserves a little more credit. I definitely think he deserved to win over him, but I do think like Austin had game. Like he was a part of the decision to like take out Kellie and J Maya, for example, for
can I say something? Okay. Like if the truth was that he wanted them out for strategic reasons and was using the sandwiches as a ploy to make people think he's playing emotionally instead of strategically, then I think it would be like one of those things where like I think he deserves more credit. But I that's what I want. Actually, you know what? Survivor, cast somebody who's petty and knows what they need to do, but finds the pettiest bullshit to get people voted out. Like, would you all not enjoy that? Like, I want somebody who's like, you know, strategically, like Jake's got to go, but I need a really good reason why people would think I want Jake to go, because I don't want them to think it's because I'm strategic. But
right.
See Jake put his toes in our water. That's what he should have done. You know, Austin, that's my advice to you. Next time that you're wanting to be petty, own the pettiness, but do it for strategically reasons. Like find the people who you need to get out and be petty towards them.
Yeah, I totally get that. Because like it is like I think he was really just pissed about the sandwiches, but I definitely can see it. Like if he was doing it for more strategic reasons, I think Austin would probably have gotten more credit at the end. So but yeah, so then we can get to the Kellie Blindside. This is a huge moment in the season because Kellie is basically like trying to like still keep Bruce in, even though she knows Bruce is bad for her game, and you know Jake is thought to be the target. But we get to tribal council, and the Reba 4 decides that they're gonna blindside Kellie instead. We get the iconic like reaction shots from both of them. You have Jake going, "Whoa!" I mean, sorry guys, whoa.
Yeah.
And then Kellie being like, "What the hell,
guys?"
Yeah.
This was like, I loved Kellie. I was like rooting for her. She was my winner pick like from day one. When I was like doing my fantasy and whatever. So I was so sad when she had to go. And like in retrospect, I feel like it was a really good move because I personally think that like Kellie could have, I mean, again, like now that we know how the season played out, it's hard to say, but I think Kellie could have won. But I'm like, okay, I get people getting her out, but damn, it was such a painful blindside.
Yeah, I agree. She was my winner pick too, as well. So I was really, really devastated here. If there was someone on blue to win this game, it was definitely Kellie. Like
100%.
she had easily the best edit.
So like Kellie to me is, I actually was like lukewarm to like she's fine throughout most of the season. I actually didn't really enjoy her until her exit. And it was because I genuinely felt like she was upset she didn't win the money. Like, I was like, okay, I can like you because I genuinely think you were there to play Survivor. Like, you didn't go out, you know, as maybe I just love petty people. Maybe I just like that, like mean spirited people. But like, it really does feel more like, to be fair, like Jeff called it one of the best blindsides of the entire series. But I think that's because there was actual weight behind the person who was voted out. Like the emotional stakes for that person was truly to be there to win Survivor. And I don't know if Kellie necessarily could have won this season. I think that she is definitely a player that has the capacity to win Survivor. So like probably somebody who should have came back. Probably a reason that they probably shouldn't have done 50 as just what they did and maybe had 49 be like or 40 or the 40s All Stars, and then had people from 40s come back with people. But whatever, I don't get to make decisions on the show. But like Kellie's somebody who probably could have been on an All-Star season, but her time might not ever come because they chose to not have a season dedicated to this type of casts, the 41 through 48 All-Stars.
Yeah.
Hey,
at the very least, though, she made it to the auction. Okay.
Yes.
And that alone. That's
That's a good segue.
She got the margarita, right?
Yeah, the margarita curse was
the margarita curse.
Yes, because Sierra, I know in a couple seasons is going to have the margarita curse. I'm trying to think of was there one more auction after these two, or are these the only two?
No, it's the only two. They've been doing it one per filming cycle, which I'm assuming we're going to get it in 50. So look out for who gets the margarita that season.
Yeah.
What's the margarita curse?
The person who gets the margarita ends up going home that episode. So Kellie went home this episode at the auction, and then Sierra went home at the auction in 47.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm big into Survivor theory, like conspiracy theories.
Yeah. It's
crazy too, because 49 they casted Alex, who in his pregame was like, I want to break the margarita curse, and then they didn't have the auction, so it was just like, wow, what a what a way to just ruin that story.
Before we get to the auction, I did just want to say, like, I think that Kellie 100% should have been back again, and to me it felt like Survivor had returned to like the old days a little bit with her Blindside. But unfortunately that didn't stick. But it like, for me, from here on out, 45 is pretty enjoyable. Like, some of these tribal councils are still really fun. Even though you can kind of tell like a Reba person, most likely D, is going to win the game by this point. But
I felt like it was pretty much like plastered on the wall at that point. Like,
it was pretty likely. Maybe D gets like out of fire. Like, that was probably the most likely that she loses.
Right.
I mean, we kind of skipped over it, but like the whole talk about her toe.
We need to mention the toes as well.
Like, I mean, from the moment we got this weird segment about toes, toes in reality, if your toes become a segment on a reality TV show, you're probably a finalist.
Yeah. And her toes helped her win that challenge.
It happens multiple times across other franchises.
Like sage snippets,
Right, because Sage had all the comments about like her blackheads and all this other stuff.
Weird.
Let's get to the auction, the return of the Survivor auction, where now they have to hit 0 and they have to not be the one with the most money left over. So if you get to 0, you don't get the shame of losing your vote. I understand they needed to mix it up because Jeff has been saying like everybody just sat around and held their money for the advantages. That's why we got rid of the auction for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think like the easier fix was don't have advantages. So like I would have rather had that be the case and just have the auction be how it used to be. But like at least it's there. At least it's there in some form, and we're not having it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I love it. I just love every time that someone's bidding $900 on a milkshake and you get to be like, oh my gosh, they way overpaid for that, but they love it so much. I mean, it's just so fun.
I mean,
or the fish eyes. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Austin eating the fish eyes. Like,
I have that. I'm not like a crazy Survivor person where like I remember everything, but like the image of Austin eating the fish eyes is like ingrained into my brain.
It's great.
It's so
the
fun.
thing I miss, and one of my favorite auctions, and one of the, like, kind of has nothing to do with this season, but like it bringing back the auction, I'm hoping like in season 16 when they get the opportunity to steal someone's money and send them straight to Exile Island. I miss Exile Island. I wish Exile Island came, and whenever it appeared in the premiere for 50, I was very excited about it because I was like, oh my gosh, like finally they're bringing back something but then they just turned it back into the same journey bull crap that we don't care about. But anyway, like I that's what makes me like the auction is like if you have the correct things going on in the game, you can have this moment where somebody thinks they're going to walk away with an advantage, but like the second to last thing before the advantage is the chance to steal all somebody's money and send them to Exile Island or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like put pressure on people to actually play the auction out, which I think is what Jeff wants to happen. But I think in order to do that, you have to not only mix up what happens at the auction, but like sometimes the auction can't have no, advantages. And
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the real issue is just like the fact that whoever has the most money loses their votes, because that just incentivizes everyone to just whoever has the most money just puts it all in, so that way they can keep their votes. And eventually it's no longer about like, oh, that's something I really want and I'm going to go for it. It's like, I just got to get rid of my money so that way I can still vote and be in this game. And hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's something I like. So I kind of don't. I hope that they get rid of that element of whoever has the most money. Like, it's okay for me like to have different values and all that kind of stuff. I think doing some kind of challenge to like determine how much money you can spend is great. But you gotta like figure out, just have people bid on things that they want to bid on, because that's more interesting than, I guess I gotta bid now because I got the most money.
Yeah. I don't like the fascination that Survivor has with losing votes. I mean, like this round and like the Kendra round, they're still so fascinated with like, oh, one or two people are going to lose their votes here. Like, I just think it's ridiculous. I think Survivor needs to do away with that and actually make things normal.
The issue is that it doesn't usually affect what's going to happen. All it does is put the people who are like in the hole, it just digs them even further down.
Right.
Usually. 9 times out of 10, the person getting screwed by not having their vote is already in a trench, laying in a casket. Like, I don't understand the fascination with it either. Like, you would think you would want people to vote so that things can happen at Tribal, not the opposite. Of, like, less things can happen. Like,
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah. And then my other favorite moment in these next couple episodes is before Bruce's boot episode is when Bruce wins the necklace and you just have the confessional of him like smiling and laughing and holding up the necklace. Like, I think that's one of the funniest moments of all time. And Katurah's like bitching about him the entire time too. I love it. All right, let's get to Bruce's boot episode, speaking of, and this is where Emily Flippen is going to basically screw Bruce over. I mean, this is great storytelling in terms of like, we saw her immediately call Bruce out in the beginning, and now she's going to be partially responsible for Bruce going home and convincing him not to play his idol. Like, I feel so bad for Bruce, but it's a good blindside.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on Bruce going home here?
I mean, I was sad, but also, I mean, I think fine placement here. I think it was a great move from Emily.
Yeah.
She claims the move way too much.
Oh, yes.
way too much than she should have. But I still think it's a great spot here for Bruce to go out. I think, yet again, almost in a similar vein of Cebu, I feel like we've seen so much Bruce, but we got like the right amount of Bruce, and it's like, okay, Bruce, now you can kind of go to the jury and do Bruceisms to the people out in Ponderosa. Like you're good there. But yeah, no, I think it was another pretty interesting tribal council, because yet again, voting someone out who has an idol is always like a very like dramatic, tension filled kind of moment.
Yeah, this was definitely the turning point where I started to be like, oh, I actually really like Emily, and she's not bad at all. And I think you're exactly right, Joe. Like, this was the point where I was like, okay, Bruce, lovely, but I've had enough. Like, with all due respect, like, so grateful to just have like watch the TV now. But yeah, I think it was his time, and it was
it was really what got the ball rolling for me with Emily, for sure.
Yeah. Is this also the episode where Emily has that great moment? She has the wine glass, but also she has the moment of like or is that next episode where she wins the reward challenge and she like breaks down crying and like this beautiful moment. Yeah.
When I was watching my recap of the season, I remember them showing that and her winning the reward. Yeah. I forget which episode it was though.
It was one of these 2 episodes, I'm pretty sure. Either her boot episode or this Bruce episode. So again, like Joe said, Emily's issue is that she claims it publicly to everyone after that she's the reason Bruce is gone.
Can we can I take a moment of silence for Kendra, who was kind of purpled on the show and even purpled here as we skipped over her. We kind of glazed over it. Like,
listen, production forgot to include her in episode 1. You know,
we forgot her boot round. It's fine. But no, in all seriousness, like her and Bruce's eliminations kind of fall back to back as to me in these like story-wise predictable eliminations for this part of the game. That's going to lead up to like essentially what we have as a final. You know, our 4 main people in our alliance, one of the major characters of the season in Emily, and then Charlie Brown and Katurah. So this is what was leading up essentially to like the end game of the season for me.
Which I do love. I mean, to be fair, this is like a great final 7. Like I actually think that,
I agree.
Like overall, like it depending on editing, you could be like, oh, it's got to be obviously D is winning, but also if you were like just there on the island, like it definitely could have felt like, oh, the game's like really about to be like opening up here for whoever.
Yeah. And I'll say with like this Sweet Purple Kendra, one thing I will say is like this is also where another shine moment for D that I think happens in a lot of like kind of like videos of like what D's winning game was, and like it's her like calling the shots and be like, Kendra's coming after me, Kendra has to go, and then Kendra goes. Like D like calling from here on out who's going to go, and then they go is like a huge props to D's game. Like she had a lot of strategic control.
Yeah.
So
I think,
what were we gonna say, Devin?
Oh, I was gonna get right into the next one because I feel like that's kind of one of the biggest moments of the season.
Yes. So this is where a couple things happen. So Emily starts claiming that she organized the Bruce boot, and then we are gonna get everybody is wanting to target Mama J now. And this is where Austin hands his idol or one of his idols to Mama J as well, right? And which is crazy move by Austin to do this. And so and then D is basically going to be like, hey, play your idol and vote for Emily, and Mama J's like, well, why don't I just vote Austin? And D's like, no, you're gonna vote Emily out. And Julie does take out Emily Flippen, and like this is just a series of crazy events that do happen. And I remember watching and I'm like, okay, is she going to like take out Austin? And for Mama J, I think the move was to take out Austin and just like screw D over at this point. So
I agree.
I mean, it's either vote out Austin or vote out D.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to screw her out, like you either screw her out of the game or screw her number 1 ally. This vote was the linchpin vote for me. That I was already confident that D was winning this game. This was the final nail. Like she convinced somebody to do something that, I mean, taking out Emily wasn't completely in Julie's like worst interest or anything.
Right.
But it certainly wasn't in her best interest.
No.
I think this is also where we get the closing for Emily's storyline of being like this hard to embrace, like very like brass character who's like, I can come in and just, say what I think. And it's pretty much what most people are thinking. They just don't say it. And evolving into like this more adaptable player who kind of slowly like trickles back into the overconfidence that came into the beginning of the game. And it kind of comes back to bite. I think it's just the perfect moment, like full circle moment for Emily, where she develops, changes just enough, but it's the same initial flaw that we've seen that eventually is like what sends, the reason she's going home ultimately. But probably one of the best characters of the new era.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, shout out to Emily. She watched my podcast actually when we were doing it. So yeah. So huge fan of Emily. Hugely because of that.
Stands over here.
She's Emily freaking Flippen. Okay.
Yeah, financial analyst Emily freaking Flippen. Like, I think she's great as well. Like, I mean, I feel like she was one of the biggest locks to return, even though she claimed she was never going to return again, which we all knew. Like, we're like, Emily, I don't know if you mean that, and I feel like I mean, production didn't think so either.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the story of this vote and how it essentially landed on Julie, who got to decide who went home.
Right.
But she does what Dee wants her to do.
Right.
Like I said, this is honestly one of the better, like, from a story standpoint, what I like to see in Survivor, where the story is starting to pay off, like what we've kind of been setting up. We're having like conclusions to somebody's arc that make sense and feel complete, and but also interesting enough for them to come back. And we're getting like a true winner move where it is defining that even though she's not the one who wrote the name, she's the one who sealed her fate.
Yeah. And she gets to pull off the move because Austin, like lets her in on like everything. And so immediately and we kind of see where the opposite happens, where Austin is, having to go against Drew and he's not sure, but he's just kind of like, okay, I guess it's just going to happen. We actually see Dee like take it into her own hands. Like, that's not happening this round. Like, I want this to go on. So this is going to be what ends up happening.
Right. Exactly. And this is, I feel, where Austin absolutely loses the game, is that he is giving Dee all the information that she needs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so we lose Emily Flippen, and then we are going to get this Drew Basile vote where once again Julie's on the chopping block, but Dee realizes that it's best to keep her around and get rid of Drew and break up Drew and Austin, so she has Austin completely on her side. And Drew Basile is someone that like I really, really liked as like an intelligent presence on the show, like the strategist. And it's cool to see him now have success after the show with Jeopardy. And so I like Drew. I wouldn't mind seeing him on like a second chance season for the new era if they had done it. Because I think he would have something to bring.
I really liked Drew. I thought, I mean, granted, I've always like loved like the little nerdy players who just like go off and strategize and like be adorable. But I really liked Drew. But also, like you just said, Jake, I think that for me, and I think we all said like at this point, I thought the winner was pretty clear. But like, it's just crazy how much Dee was able to just take control of the game and be like, okay, no, like I still need Julie, even though people want Julie out. I still need Julie. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Now Drew's going home. Like, it was just mastery, honestly.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like he went home at the right time. I mean, he got to the point where like, similar to like Emily, the overconfidence had, came to a boil. I think that he genuinely thought that he was in control of the game. And then it kind of comes crashing down in one foul swoop. And I don't know. I don't have much to say about Drew. I was kind of middling on him throughout most of the season, but I was glad that he made it as far as he did, because he did provide like that kind of like foil character to like Dee, where Dee was more socially strategic. Like he was more like openly like generic, like the generic version of strategic, like thinks ahead type thing.
Yeah, he definitely. I don't think was going to win any jury votes. Really, like,
No.
I don't think that was ever going to happen with him. But yet again, he was also one of the people who was like confrontational with like Jake. You know,
Yeah.
like getting into fights with Jake was also pretty funny. He kind of had like this almost Godfather-esque like vibe to him near the end, where he thought he was fully in control. Everything was going to his plan. Which obviously was not the case.
Yeah, my favorite part. We haven't mentioned Party with the Boys. We should mention that before the finale real quick. But the other part is like Drew calling, like, Jake is trying to like plan stuff, and Drew's just like, this guy's a goon. Like, let's mention Party with the Boys real quick, because I think this is a hilarious character moment as well. The fact that they somehow got the rights to use like the Top Gun music, like Danger Zone, in Survivor is absolutely insane. And just like it's one of the funnier like editing moments in like the new era, especially.
Yeah, I loved it. You know, the girls got to have their girls trip, and the boys got to enjoy their time having their montage. Yet again, I feel like if this was hour-long Survivor, we don't get this scene. I feel like this is not there, and I'm so glad that we do get this scene because we get 90 minutes.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's hit the finale, and this finale does start off pretty interesting because this final 5 move is something where it's an opportunity to make a final move to take out D, who is going to win, and Katurah like basically doesn't listen to Jake, freaks out. Jake even plays the idol on her that he found, and she decides to vote off Mama J instead of D. Like, this is a crazy moment. And it's just like, Katurah, why did you just basically send yourself to go to fire making the next round? Like, it's just an insane blunder, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this was game-losing move here by Katurah.
Yeah.
This right here is what I call a top-tier Final 5 round. I mean, rarely in Survivor do we get to see a Final 5 round where all 4 of the available people to be voted off gain a vote to be eliminated. And I think that this also gives us a true insight into what's actually going on, because truly the person who ends up getting their way in Austin got his way not through his own strategic abilities, but because of how poorly Jake was at securing Katurah to do what he wanted to do and take out the biggest jury threat. And I think that this like shows why the one person who's truly not involved in this vote that much, which is D, because her vote gets, I think hers was the one that was like idled out, right? Like idle. Like, she's gonna win the game because the one person who got his way by accident. The person who didn't get their way, like somebody Charlie Browned him yet again right before the final. The girl who Charlie Browned him just completely burned any chances of winning the jury, and her number one ally just went home. So, like, to me, it was just a perfect Final 5 round. Unfortunately, it did kind of spoil what was going to happen moving forward. The rest of the finale.
Yeah, and also like Jake and Katurah never really liked each other. I think there was a few times, like, which is crazy too. Final 5, 3 lawyers. You know, there were 3 lawyers here, and Katurah and Jake, who are lawyers, feel like there should have been some kind of bond. I know Katurah was like hiding the fact that she was a lawyer, but like the fact that still she never really fully connected with Jake. It just ended up being that the other side was taking out every one of Katurah's allies, and Jake was kind of now also just left there because it's the Charlie Brown. Why are you going to take out the Charlie Brown anytime until like near the end of the game? It's just one of those things where it's like, wow, if Katurah like just had a better pulse on like what was actually happening in the game, I think D goes home here, and that Final 4 then, and the game's opened up so much.
Yes.
Like, see, the thing is I know a lot of people want to shit on this for Katurah's decision, but I don't blame Katurah for her decision. I blame Jake, because the truth is if she truly felt like she should believe him, Dee would have went home here. But for whatever reason, his pitch to her came across not genuine. And I actually kind of think it's interesting that Katurah was technically in the swing vote for this. Mm-hmm. She was technically the person who decided who went home. She just didn't realize that because of how poor Jake's social game was.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I don't think Jake pitched it that well at all. Also, as I said earlier, I think Dee's social game absolutely should be praised more, because she was able to make sure that Katurah would be down to not vote her out. I mean, I think in the Drew vote, you even have that scene of Dee and Katurah jumping up and down and being we're both thinking Drew, that's amazing. I think that moment kind of solidifies right there why Katurah won't vote Dee out, because they're jumping up and being excited because they get to vote together.
Yeah. I mean, Jake's pitch, I've done actually very similar things almost to what Jake is, where it's this is so obvious. We got to take out this person because this person is going to win the game if we don't take this person out here. And it's this is what we have to do. And then the other person goes, well, you're just telling me that, so I'm going to go do this other thing because now it's going to look like I just did something instead of you doing something here. Yeah. And it's one of those tough things where it's Jake had the right call here. This was a really the right call for the game, but he just didn't do it right, and Dee was able to just socially outmaneuver. Which yet again, this is the one time in the entire game where Dee has any chance of really being in danger.
Yes.
And she manages to get out of it from a crazy vote.
Exactly. Yeah. Huge praise to her here. And then we are going to get to the final four. I think the main notable thing, Katurah gets beaten by Jake and Fire, but the main thing is Jake at the immunity challenge destroying the challenge and Jeff getting really angry. And yeah, I think again, this is relating Jake to Owen. We talked about a couple weeks ago that they both destroy the final challenge, and they're both the Charlie Brown archetype. It's really funny.
Listen, if you destroy the challenge, and if you see that in the edit, if the edit shows you screwing up a challenge really bad, you're not winning the game. Not happening. Sorry, they're not going to show their winner in a negative light in the sense that Jeff's mad at them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 100%. So
it would do. I knew ethically, at this point, I knew he was winning, but I was oh, he's definitely not got no chance of winning now.
I mean, Jake was definitely getting 0 votes. It was pretty clear.
Yeah, 0 vote finalists always.
So, yeah. But yeah, so Katurah goes out. We get to final tribal council, and I feel Austin does give a decent pitch because he does get 3 jury votes. It is actually close for once in the new era so far, because it's been 7-1 to 0 every other time. So I like that it is a 5-3 vote, but 100% Dee was the most deserving of 3 of them. So I'm glad the jury absolutely got it right here.
Yeah. Dee definitely deserved it, but yeah, I actually do think Austin was a pretty confident player. I do think he was good in the challenges. He was able to do pretty good with his alliances, and also he had some of the right reads, but because he trusted Dee so much, he would let her in on things, and sometimes those things were not aligned with Dee, and that ends up obviously backfiring him a few times, especially near the end game.
Right. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. To the men who ever watch this podcast and end up on Survivor, if you end up in a showmance with a woman and you choose to take her to final tribal council, know that you are giving her $1 million. So you better lock that down, okay? She better be ready to put a ring on it as soon as you leave the island, because it's not like Amber and Rob where they had time to really debate who was going to win and stuff, and then they proposed at the finale. You don't get that no more. We tell you right then and there if you got $1 million, and she's got to know that when she gets that $1 million, she also wants you, because you'll end up like Austin, single, no million, and runner up on Survivor.
Yep. Period.
Yeah. happened like right away too. Like, like they were gone like instantly that when they were on the plane.
Yeah. Poor Austin. I in fairness, I think Austin is no longer single. If rumors are true.
Wait, wasn't he dating Jeff's niece, or am
That's
tripping?
what I.
That's happening. Yeah.
That's the rumor. Yes. So.
Okay, let that be another note to men who play Survivor. If you don't win $1 million, having Jeff as a relative is also a way to potentially get money.
Yeah, that's a different in right there.
Listen, there's winning Survivor and then there's winning at life.
Period.
People respect
Yes.
both.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Let's hit the rankings since we are now at that. We have our first boots list, so we would be talking about I think both Hannah and Brandon, because Hannah quit and Brandon was technically the first voted out.
Hannah's going at 1, right? That's what we all agree.
No.
Yeah, of course.
We have unanimously decided at the beginning of this that the early boots of this season, unfortunately, were like org early boots, where they come in and they say, "I'm voted out first every time," and they're voted out first again. These are not strong early boots. I say I am clearly putting my stamp on leave it be.
Yeah,
if only Sabaya was maybe a round early, then we could have a discussion. But
nope. All right, sorry, Hannah and Brandon. All right, Fallen Angels. This would be Katurah. I don't think Katurah is making this list. I mean, this is very legendary Fallen Angels. That
agreed.
I don't think Katurah.
It's pretty
Oh my
impossible.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, at first I read Rick, and for some reason I thought of Rick from South Pacific, and I was like, what is he doing? I don't know if I can be associated with this show anymore. Like, can you all blur me out? No, okay. Yeah, definitely. Katurah,
these are all icons.
Katurah, good character, entertaining, could deserve a return, has not deserved here yet. This is not her.
No. Losing finalists to be I don't think Jacob Kane is in the discussion. Is Austin Lee Kuhn in the discussion for losing finalists? I feel not. I mean, this is a really good group of losing finalists. I mean,
why is Xander Hastings not up there? Hello.
Listen, I campaigned for Angelina Keeley to be put on this because she might not have played a great game, but she's entertaining as 9 kinds of hell, and Jacket Gate will go down as monumental.
Will go down for the books. Oh my god! But yeah, I'm a Xander stan, so don't worry, Xander. I see you.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the Carolyn as like the 10th place, and that's like the bar, and I just don't think any. I don't think Austin's better of a player than Carolyn.
Agreed.
No.
Carolyn being 10th to me is crazy, but okay. I love Carolyn. Her archetype, just so good that she got as far as she did, and in my mind, truly deserved to win the game. I would have voted Carolyn personally.
I think that was our feeling when we were discussing on the 44 podcast. All right, winners. So I'm going to make an argument for D. Because I think she was one of the most dominant winners. Yes, a couple things probably had to break her way. But if you look at it, I mean, she only was ever in danger at Final 5, and she had such a good connection with Katurah, and Jake pitched so badly that she wasn't going to get voted out there. And she had control of one of the most dominant alliances of 4 we've ever seen. So I know it would knock out Boston Rob though. So I think that's probably the debate. So
because this is the thing. Rob played probably one of the most dominant games of Survivor, but it was against a cast of newbies where most of them were obsessed with him. So it's a tough thing. Do you value that game so high because it was just a complete steamroll for him, or do you hold it against him because the cast he was playing against basically gave him the game from what
season was 22? Fans vs favorites?
Redemption Island.
Yeah, I'd actually be okay with kicking Boston Rob off here.
Ooh, that I mean, I'd be
okay with it, but also I haven't seen Redemption Island in a minute.
Yeah.
Since I was like, what, season 22? I was maybe 10 or 11, so
Yeah.
a million years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I actually take it back because I am just so. I love Survivor, but I don't want to say I'm anti-new era, but like I miss the old days so much that I don't even know if I think like just because of the distance of me not having watched many of the older seasons recently, and I'm like, oh well, in the new era, like I think D, tops that list. But okay, I'm actually fine. I'm good with whatever decision we make here.
Yeah. See, I'm actually looking at this and I'm going like, I actually value D's game better than Sarah Lucina, who's at 9. But like,
I'm just gonna say something. This list is a little baffling to me. Like, I don't know if I'm the person to ask because Tony's one of my least favorite winners. I put him in the bottom 10 usually because I'm not a fan of Tony's game. I don't think it's good. I think he got lucky both times. Sarah Lucina's game, I think D's game is better than Sarah Lucina's, but as much as I want to say that Boston Rob, he did have a bunch of goats to play with, Boston Rob did play one of the most dominant games that Survivor ever seen. So I can't really say anything. I agree with Natalie being up here. Jeremy, I get. Todd had one of the best final tribal councils. I think Kim basically evolved the Parvati game, which obviously like Parvati created it. Kim kind of perfected it by getting even more votes at final tribal. Where in the hell is Marianne? Who I consider
I love Marianne.
Which obviously I'm a huge Marianne fan, but I'm like, where is she? Like, so to me, I don't know what to say because I think that based on this list, D deserves to be on it, but it's not in favor of Boston Rob. It's in favor of Sarah Lucina. Like, kick Sarah off and keep Boston Rob on. I don't know how she got above Boston Rob.
Yeah, are we allowed to kick Sarah off, put Boston Rob at 9, and then put D at 10?
Sorry, like I'm just being a fan. Like if I'm being completely honest, that's the real baffler is why are we kicking Boston Rob off this list when we could kick like Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in fairness of the list, we should probably keep it the way it's been going.
Then D can't be on it. Like,
I don't think you can. I don't think you can kick Boston Rob off for D.
Kicking Boston Rob off the list seems super weird.
My bad, guys. My bad.
No, you're totally good.
I don't know.
I made the case for D, and I'm gonna agree with you guys. I mean, I think D is at least very close to cracking it. So I just had to try. I do think that there is one new era winner I would now put above D, which I mean we'll just say it. I think Kyle's a better winner than D. So
I still put D above Kyle.
I think Marianne, Kenzie, I put their games above D personally. I think that Kenzie more because I think she had to overcome more coming from the disaster tribe and then basically winning based solely on social game. And Marianne, just because like nobody is ever going to do what Marianne did in that archetype that she falls into. Like no one's ever going to do that again. To me, the fact she won that game based on like who she was on that island, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then last up, we have seasons. I don't think 45 is cracking this at all. I mean, I don't want to boot Cook Islands out for 45.
Yeah, no way.
So
we gotta keep Cook Islands because Cook Islands gave us Yule,
Justice for
Parvati,
Gabon, Justice for Broken Chains.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions.
Yeah, there's a lot of honorable mentions. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm still shocked Borneo ended up in there.
But I wouldn't have it there at that point. Like I like respect to where like this show started. I do think that there were at least 10 more
rewatch
seasons.
Survivor. Oh my god. I gotta rewatch these seasons. I swear to God.
Yeah. All right. Well, nothing cracked the top 10. All right. So
Yeah, if we were going characters, I would be pitching Emily Flippen, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like top 10 characters or
Yeah.
top 10 character arcs.
Yes,
Yeah.
character arcs would be
Arcs.
yeah.
Yes, Emily Flippen definitely up there.
Well, there's a chance she can still crack our favorite male and female, which I'm sure she probably will. My favorite male and female, I'm going to go with Austin Lee Koon for the man and D for the woman. I just think they're both really fun in this season, really good players, especially D. And so I'm going to go with the two of them. There's probably a couple other male picks. Women, I'd probably consider Kellie as well, but I'll go with Austin and D. So, Diana, what about you?
For me, I mean, I'm just going with my gut from when I watched it. Female would be Kellie and male is Drew. Like, I was just so drawn to them during the season, and they're the kind of archetypes that I just fall in love with when I watch reality TV. So they were definitely my favorite male and female.
Yeah, good picks. Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to obviously go with Emily freaking Flippen here. I got to go with her. And then I'm going to go with the other Lulu member here that made it far, Kaleb. Tribal Council was one of the best moments. I remember literally getting out of the couch and being like, yeah, like, doing a pump fist.
Such a good moment, as we've covered for sure. Devin, your man and woman, are we gonna have all different picks across the board here?
No, because for the woman it is Emily freaking Flippen. I think Emily's one of the most entertaining characters from this season. For the man, I could actively pass, but if I had to choose one, the most visually appealing man for my eyes to watch on TV was Austin. So we'll just go with the one that made me feel the most like okay to see him on screen.
That works. All right. The last question is, how did Survivor 45 contribute to the evolution of Survivor as we know it? I think bringing back the auction, I think the 90-minute episodes, I think those are both huge contributions to the evolution of Survivor as we know it. What about you guys?
I agree. I think the 90 minutes really gives you a level of the show that because I also don't see much, I've never been like a big oh my god, this person's getting this edit and the editors are doing this and whatnot, but I think getting 90 minutes really shows you a lot more to the show than what you used to see, and I think it brought back a little bit of the aggression, the strategic moves that were kind of lost, I feel like, maybe in the early 40s. Yeah,
I think that those are good options as well. Joe.
Don't trust your showmance. I think that's a big lesson here. I think that's literally what cost Austin this game. If he was a little more keeping info and not letting D in on everything, I think he would have had a much better chance at winning this game. But because he wanted her looped in, even if it was literally bad for her game to be looped in, she's gonna do what she wants. She's not gonna go with that. So yeah, I'm gonna say don't trust your showmance.
It's a good one. Devin.
Other than things that you already said, maybe they really proved how many times you can, swipe that football away from somebody and watch them fall on their ass. I mean, Charlie Browning was at its peak this season. This might be one of the most Charlie Brown characters in the history of the show. I think that, there's some people who give him a run for his money, but like you said, don't trust your showmance. 90 minutes is better than 42. The auction probably should come back, and they should keep it fresh by, switching up what the punishments or positive things that come from it are.
Yeah. So, and it should be every season, not just once in the filming cycle.
Make it immunity. Make them think they're playing for reward, and then literally the last thing be like, "Oh, this auction is almost over. There's one more thing," and then just pull out a thing and say, no telling you what this is, and just show them like a letter, like an envelope, and just say, whoever gets this is going to be very happy because it's going to change the game. And then whoever gets it, they open it and read it, and it say, "You all are going to tribal council. The person who opened this letter is immune."
Yeah. I like that a lot. Devin, you just figured it out. Like that's perfect.
That's
it. Talk about like jarring things to happen at an auction. Like we're voting somebody off at the auction.
Yeah, I did also want to bring up the shot in the dark as well with having nullified as many votes as it did. I believe it now holds the record with Kaleb nullifying 12 votes. Like I don't think that's ever getting broken. All right, let's end this. So we just finished Survivor 45. Next week it's time to cancel Christmas because we're going to Survivor 46.
Cancel doctor's appointments.
Let's go. Top tier season right there.
Oh boy, I don't know about that. Diana's going to be joining me again. We'll also have Ryan Neowayne and Brandon Grummet. So yeah, tune in to watch us talk about Charlie and Maria, Q, Tiffany, Kenzie, and unfortunately we have to talk about Banu. So
I'm so excited.
Banu frickin' after how many years was it? Like since season 4, finally took over the most confessionals from a pre-merge vote, which was Gina from season 4. So like after freaking like 42 seasons, he finally dethroned somebody, and it was in the worst way possible.
He set the Banu bar. Okay, you got to get past the Banu bar.
listen. Right. Everybody's new game is it's like limbo. You got to be under that bar.
Well, with that, join us for our 46th episode. We'll see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.